the Jianghu, the vast martial world, was a realm of shifting sands, where allegiances were bought with gold, and honor was often just a rumor whispered in dark taverns. Yet even in this cynical domain, there existed a fraternity bound by an unwavering oath, the Beggar clan, led by their revered chief, King Zhaoyun. King Zhaoyun was a study in paradox. His robes were patched and frayed, his face weathered by sun and rain, yet his eyes held the serene wisdom of a true emperor. The Beggar clan was not merely an association of the poor. They were the eyes and ears of the land, their network stretching from the grand imperial courts to the smallest, most desolate villages. Their true wealth was information, and their most sacred treasure was their code: protect the vulnerable, uphold justice, and never, under any circumstances, betray a trust. The trust they held now was the heaviest burden imaginable: the life of Prince Jinghao, the last surviving heir of a fallen dynasty. Prince Jinghao lived in disguised exile within the deepest shadows of the Beggar clan's network, his existence a deadly secret known only to King Zhaoyun and his most trusted elders. The powerful faction that sought his death, the cruel and affluent Crimson Serpent clan, believed they had stamped out the last embers of the old imperial line. The Serpent clan coveted the ultimate power in the Jianghu, and a living prince, even an exiled one, represented a fatal threat to their illegitimate authority. Their grand elder, Meng Fei, was a man of cold, calculated ambition, his internal art specializing in subtle poisons and paralyzing pressure points. The conflict began subtly, with the disappearance of low-ranking beggar disciples, those who overheard too much or saw the wrong face in a crowd. Then came the bribes, impossible sums of silver offered to any beggar willing to reveal the location of the lost prince. The beggars, though starving, remained silent. Finally, the attacks escalated to open violence. Serpent assassins began targeting the clan's key communication hubs, their hidden inns, and their secret relay points. King Zuyun knew the Serpent clan was closing in. The vast, decentralized nature of his clan was now its only weakness. A large tree is easy to hide, but the forest is hard to protect. He met with Prince Jinghao in a secluded, abandoned temple outside the city of Suzhou, the meeting shadowed by the looming threat of discovery. "Your Highness," Zhao Yuan said, his voice calm, "the serpent is tightening its coils. They know the prince lives, only lack the location." Jinghao, though young and stripped of his royalty, carried himself with quiet dignity. "Kingzi, my fate is mine. But your people should not suffer for my life." "Your Highness forgets the code of the Beggar clan," Zhao Yuan replied, a gentle firmness in his tone. "We swore an oath to your grandfather. Loyalty is the very root of our clan's honor." Zhao Yun ordered the immediate activation of the Dragon's Tail Protocol complex, multi-stage evasion technique known only to the Beggar King himself. This protocol involved splitting their forces, planting layers of false clues, and relying on the absolute loyalty of thousands of unseen eyes.
Ow.
The escape began in the depths of the night. Prince Jinghao was disguised as a simple mute kitchen hand, led by two elite beggar masters, skilled in the art of blending with the common folk. But Elder Meng Fei was prepared. He had anticipated the dragon's tail and deployed his most lethal operative, the swift and silent Viper Blade. The Viper Blade intercepted the group in a bustling marketplace. He moved with cold efficiency, carving a path through the innocent bystanders with his poisoned dagger. Zhu Yuan, alerted by a hidden signal, the distinct chirp of a cricket mimicker arrived instantly, leaping from the rooftop of a nearby tea house. "The beggar's code forbids bloodshed near the common people," Zhu Yuan stated. His dog-beating staff held defensively, its wood worn smooth by generations of use. The Viper Blade simply sneered. "Your code is sentiment. My master deals in reality. Hand over the boy, King, or watch your entire clan bleed." The fight was a blur of motion. The Viper Blade's technique was focused on rapid, lethal strikes aimed at vital points, forcing Zhu Yuan into constant defense. Zhao Yun's staff work, however, was fluid and unpredictable, shifting from a deadly spear to a defensive shield, then suddenly becoming a grappling hook. He used the chaos of the crowd to his advantage, deflecting the dagger's poisoned tip into market stalls and bags of flour, never at the Viper himself. The essence of the dog-beating staff was not to beat the dog, but to anticipate its every move and counter it with precise, overwhelming disadvantage. With a sudden, lightning-fast reverse sweep, Ziyuan snapped the Viper Blade's dagger at the hilt, leaving the assassin with only the useless wooden grip. Disarmed and enraged, the Viper Blade attempted to use his internal arts, a burst of dark energy aimed at Ziyuan's chest. Ziyuan countered with the shadow of the Wandering Dragon stance, twisting his body just enough for the blast to harmlessly dissipate into the air. He then used the flat of his staff to deliver a non-lethal, concussive blow to the back of the Viper's head, dropping the assassin instantly. The crowd, initially terrified, watched in awe as the Ragged King stood victorious. Having protected both the prince and the surrounding civilians, Yuan knew this was only a minor skirmish. Elder Meng Fei would unleash his full power now, abandoning subtlety for brutal force. He gathered his remaining key disciples. "We retreat to the hidden eye of the dragon," he commanded. "It is the only place left." The hidden eye of the dragon was the Beggar clan's ancestral, secret meeting hall, a vast chamber beneath an ancient, forgotten cemetery. It was defensible, but it was also a trap. Once they were inside, they were surrounded, with no further escape possible. Elder Meng Fei arrived at the cemetery at dawn, leading 200 elite serpent disciples, their banners fluttering like dark evil flags. Meng Fei stood atop the highest tombstone, his voice booming with toxic confidence. "Zhao Yuan, show yourself. The game is over." Xiaoyan emerged from the shadows of the cemetery gate alone and unarmed, walking calmly toward the serpent host. Elder Meng Zhaoyun greeted him with cold politeness. "Your greed has led you to desecrate hallowed ground. This is an offense to the entire Zhenghu." "Your Zhenghu is fading," Meng Fei scoffed. "My power is real. The prince is hidden in your hole beneath the dirt. Give him up, and I will let your dogs live." "The Beggar clan is not a collection of dogs," Elder Zhuan retorted, his eyes burning. "We are the conscience of the martial world, the keepers of oaths. We may wear rags, but our honor is finer than your silk, and our loyalty is harder than your steel." Meng Fei laughed, a sound devoid of humor. "Loyalty does not fill bellies or stop blades. Dak. Kill every last one who defends this tomb." The battle began with a terrifying rush. The serpent disciples were highly trained, organized, and focused on overwhelming force. But the Beggar clan disciples were fighting on their own ground, defending their sanctuary, their techniques perfectly adapted to the uneven terrain and tight spaces. The Beggars used their stealth and superior knowledge of the layout, drawing the serpent fighters into confusing skirmishes and pre-dug traps. Zhaoyan drew his dog-beating staff for the main confrontation with Elder Meng. Meng Fei attacked first, his palms glowing with a poisonous green ki. His moves were heavy and powerful, aiming to crush the Beggar King with sheer density of force. Zhaoyan moved like water, yielding to the powerful strikes, his staff deflecting the blows with minimal contact, preserving his strength. The fight was a clash of philosophies. The Serpent Clan's belief in fixed, unmoving power against the Beggar Clan's art of constant adaptation and fluid response. "You dodge like a coward, King," Meng Fei roared, slamming his palms against the ground, causing dust and debris to erupt. "I reserve my strength," Elder Zhaoyun calmly countered, narrowly avoiding a massive, earth-shaking strike. "I will not waste power on a man whose fate is already sealed by his own corruption." Zhaoyun saw his chance when Meng Fei, frustrated, overextended his stance in a massive horizontal sweep. Utilizing the form of the sleeping dragon, Ziyuan dropped low, his staff sweeping Meng Fei's legs with unexpected force and precision. Meng Fei stumbled, his immense internal power useless when his foundation was lost. Zhaoyun moved in with blinding speed, not striking to kill, but to disable the Elder's primary pressure points. Clack, clack, gak! The staff hit 3 critical points on Meng Fei's shoulders and ribs in rapid succession, temporarily paralyzing his upper body. Gah! Meng Fei collapsed, immobilized, unable to move his arms, his mouth contorted in a silent scream of fury and defeat. The sight of their Grand Elder instantly defeated by the Beggar King broke the morale of the Serpent disciples. Their rigid order dissolved into panicked chaos. Zhaoyun commanded his disciples to disarm the remaining serpent fighters, but to take no lives. adhering strictly to the ancient non-lethal mandate of the clan. The battle was won, but the crisis was not over. Guan still had to expose Meng Fei's corruption to the wider Zhenghu to ensure the Serpent clan's power was broken for good. He ordered his disciples to tie up the immobilized Meng Fei and carry him, still enraged but helpless, to the highest, busiest plaza in the nearby city. At the plaza, a massive crowd gathered to witness the unbelievable sight of the feared elder Meng Fei, bound and disgraced. Beneath the banner of the Beggar clan, Zhao Yun spoke to the assembled citizens and representatives of other martial clans, his voice echoing clearly across the square. "The Beggar clan's true strength is not in our weapons, but in our knowledge," he announced, pulling forth a sealed scroll recovered from the Viper Blade. This scroll details Elder Meng Fei's plan to poison the local water supply to weaken the city's defenses before taking control. Gasps erupted from the crowd. The accusations were devastating. Backed by the undeniable evidence and the disgraced presence of Meng Fei, Zhao Yun then revealed the ultimate secret, the protection of Prince Jing. How? This man sought to kill the last rightful heir to the imperial line, not for justice, but for unchecked personal power. The Zhenghu watched, shocked into silence. The exposure was a strategic masterpiece, not a martial victory, but a moral and informational one. The Serpent clan was immediately shunned by every reputable faction. Their reputation, their lifeblood in the martial world, was irrevocably shattered. Zhao Yun had protected the prince, upheld the clan's oath, and, most importantly, cleansed a portion of the Zhenghu of corruption, all without resorting to murder. Days later, Prince Zhang Hao stood before King Zhao Yun, dressed in humble clothes, ready to continue his own journey into the world. "I owe you my life, King Zi," the prince said, bowing low. "Your clan's loyalty is the true spirit of my family's lost kingdom." "Your Highness," Zi Yuan replied, "the kingdom may be gone, but the spirit of honor lives in the hearts of your people, even those who wear rags." He presented the prince with a small, intricately carved bamboo whistle, a secret communication device known only to the Beggar King. "If you are ever in danger, blow this whistle, and the vast, unseen network of the Beggar clan will respond." Jing Hao accepted the whistle, realizing the gift was not just protection, but a tangible symbol of the loyalty the clan had risked everything to maintain. The prince left the hidden sanctuary, prepared to face the world, not as a helpless exile, but as a man backed by the silent, powerful loyalty of the Beggar King. King Zhaoyan watched him go, a sense of profound peace settling over him. He knew that the Beggar clan would always be poor in worldly possessions, always misunderstood by the wealthy elite. But their strength was in their collective honor, their discipline rooted in the promise they kept. The Zhenghu was now safer, more just, because of the sacrifices made in the shadow of the cemetery. His victory was not in the fight with Meng Fei, but in the thousands of loyal beggars who refused a bribe and chose honor over gold. This, he mused, was the true power of a clan, the enduring nature of a moral code that transcends individual might. The world continued to turn, the political factions continued their plotting, but the Beggar clan remained, the silent, unshakable foundation of justice. Zhao Yun looked out at the bustling city below, where his people were already blending back into the crowds, gathering the threads of information. He took a deep breath, the air tasting cleaner now that the poisonous influence of the Serpent clan had been purged. The path of the king was never easy, and the demands of loyalty were relentless, yet he would not trade his patched robe for any emperor's silk. For the honor of the Beggar clan was the greatest treasure in all the land. He straightened his ragged tunic and smiled, ready for the next challenge the chaotic world of the Zhenghu would throw his way. The saga of the Beggar King and his unwavering oath had just begun. The vast, unseen world of the Zhenghu is filled with endless tales of honor, conflict, and extraordinary loyalty. Discover more legendary heroes and moral sagas of the martial world. Like, share, and subscribe to Storycraft Studio.